Tonight on News 5 Live, after a night of protest in Santa Familia, the Commissioner of Police calls for calm. Residents demand justice and a murder charge. More details emerge on the proposed plan to cut the super bond. And pregnant women are being urged to get the Pfizer vaccine. Details of these stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
RF&G Insurance wants you to be prepared for the hurricane season. When assembling your hurricane preparation kit, be sure to include first aid supplies, extra batteries and chargers, at least 3 days of non-perishable food and water, flashlights, supply of any necessary medication, battery-operated radio. RF&G Insurance Company Limited, where it pays to get it right.
At Belize Diagnostic Center, we offer FDA-approved PCR testing for COVID-19. Get your results as quickly as 1 hour. Don't risk getting exposed to COVID-19 by going elsewhere. We take appointments or we can come to your home or office using our concierge service with no additional fees. We have 10 locations countrywide. Call or WhatsApp us at 613-TEST. That is 613-8378 to schedule your test today.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 5 Caribbean Media Awards for 2019 and 2020. Best Television News Item, Best Responsible Coverage of Children's Issues, Best Health Education Journalism, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with special mention by the jury in the Best Television News Item category.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, September 7th. I am Sabrina Daly. Today, a News 5 crew was back in Santa Familia Village, where residents came out in huge numbers to express their outrage over the shooting death of BDF soldier Jesse Escobar. The public protest started as early as 6:30 on Monday night, when the main entrance to the village near the bus stop was almost impassable after tires were set on fire as residents chanted for justice. Today, that chorus resounded even as the Commissioner of Police and a team of officers visited the village to quell the upheaval.
It was a fiery night in Santa Familia Village on Monday. Residents were up in arms, furious about the shooting death of one of their own at the hands of lawmen. That same conviction continued into today when residents gathered in front of Branchmouth Stop and Shop store, the location where off-duty BDF soldier Jesse Escobar was shot and killed by another soldier, Private R. Valencia, who was part of a joint foot patrol in the village. Residents and family members are calling for justice, that a murder charge be leveled against the officer who fatally wounded Escobar.
He promised me, front of everybody, he will make justice, and I satisfied with that because that is no manslaughter, that is murder, you see? And he promised me, I feel good that he will do something because he is the boss of it.
Right.
That's it. I don't have nothing else. And the worst thing that I feel because they kill my son in front of my little baby. That hurt me one lot. You see? Now, my little baby, when she see a police or a BDF, she start to cry because she say, I am afraid of that. Because you ask her, where is your daddy? The BDF kill my pa, he said, the legal.
I decided to come this morning because first and foremost, I think that as a commissioner of police, I owe the mother, Ms. Escobar, some explanation in terms of what we're doing, to give her that assurance that she may be seeking. I am hoping likewise to meet with the common law, the wife, to also give her that assurance.
It's an emotional time for the residents because there were two other men along with Escobar, his common-law wife, and their 2-year-old daughter. Among them was Cordelia Landera's son, who says he too would have been shot if he did not get on the ground.
Why did they go to my sons also? Look at it, they miss it. They miss it because my son kneeled down. And that's why they missed the gun on him. But from Wednesday, they fired my son. I heard it. I was on my bed when I heard 2 shots on Wednesday that same week. And I just felt something on my heart. And I said, I wonder who it is. And the next day I find out that they fired the gun to my son. And he's only 21 years. And they threatened my son to death also. They told my son, if he says something, they're going to kill him. And that's why I'm talking as a mother. Because I am frustrated. I am tired. Enough is enough.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams says that the video and comments made by the police and BDF will be reviewed by the DPP to determine what charge will be leveled against the lawmen.
From what we saw in the video, it is an unjustified shooting. There is nothing that we can do or say to try and justify that, and any right-thinking person would come to that conclusion. So we'll do our part, and I understand what the people of the village are calling for. They want justice, and as law enforcement, the principal law enforcement agency in this country, it is our duty to properly investigate, to make sure that the people get what they are seeking.
A requisite intent to kill. Is that something that can be established? I know you're not preempting the DPP, but just looking at the base facts with your knowledge of the law.
Well, I would look at the comments uttered before the shooting, the actions during the shooting, and the comments after the shooting, and I leave it at that.
The case file has already been forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for a determination to be made on what charge or charges will be leveled. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The burning of tires and the actions carried out by residents on Monday night are criminal. But Compol Chester Williams says he instructed officers to stand down. Today, during his intervention with residents, a truce of sorts was brokered so that the fiery protests would end.
I did saw the videos from what happened last night. And yes, while it was happening, police wanted to engage. And I said to the police, no, we're not going to engage these people. People do have a right to dissent. And even though it was not a peaceful dissent as it ought to have been, we try to understand the pain of the village over what had transpired. And so with that, we allowed them to express themselves the way they did last night. While yes, what they did last night was wrong, we have to be sensitive to how people feel. The village is outraged, and not only the village. I think all of us right-thinking persons are outraged over what happened. And so we have to understand their position and why they did what they did, and so I am not going to bring charges against nobody for what happened last night, no.
Sir Chester, thank you, and I will speak to the villagers that no more burning of tire, but we want to do something. I want to make you, we just want to have justice, and that's it. We will do our best to don't do that what happened last night.
Police Constable 1189 Juan Carlos Morales was the police officer leading the joint patrol with BDF on the tragic Sunday night. But as it turns out, he is not even a trained police officer. Compol Chester Williams confirmed to the media today that Morales just recently assimilated into the Belize Police Department as a constable, having worked as a special constable for years. But is this lack of professional development and community policing skill what led to the mishandling of the situation, which subsequently ended with the killing of Escobar?
I fully agree that the actions of the police goes totally against what we expect of our officers. And I have instructed Mr. Serrano that the officer is to be charged for act of political order and discipline in respect to his comments before and after the shooting. There was also a civilian who was assaulted by the police with a baton. The police will also be charged in respect of that matter. Certainly, Jules, the actions of the police, one could reasonably argue, exasperated that situation to where it went.
According to the commissioner, over 100 special constables have been given regulation numbers due to their performance. He says Morales had demonstrated the ability to perform as a police officer and was recommended by his officer in command. But even scarier is the fact that Officer Morales appears to have blatantly lied in his statement about what transpired on the night of the fatal shooting. Were it not for the surveillance footage, that statement would have been the basis for the investigation, a misrepresentation of the facts of the incident. Viewers may recall that in that leaked document, PC Morales claims that the Joint Foot Patrol was basically under attack, and that led to the fatal shooting. The video, however, showed that the deceased was unarmed and carried only a cup in his hand. This supports the distrust and lack of confidence that residents have had in law enforcement. So Compol Chester Williams was asked about what this means for him.
Thank God we have video now, and police officers are told this every time, Everything we do in public, it is being watched. And if it is that you know that you are being watched and you still display a certain conduct, then it's on you. And yes, in terms of the statement that I see circulating is not signed. So in terms of authenticity, it's an issue. But let me say that it is somewhat consistent with the signed one. And so the fact that the officer lied in that statement, it is something that we are also looking at internally, because under our disciplinary rules, it would fall under an act of prejudice to good order and discipline as well.
But would this be grounds for him to be taken out of the department?
Of course, he will be interdicted after being charged, yes.
In the wake of the killing of Jesse Escobar, the wooden house rented by Officer Morales was set on fire. This case of arson is being investigated, and Compol Williams says that when the perpetrators are identified, they will be charged.
Of course, that is an outright criminal matter, a damage to property. And so, yes, that matter is being investigated. And if we find who is responsible, then that person certainly will be charged.
On Monday night, we aired an interview with the Chief of Staff of the Belize Defense Force on the rules of engagement that guide a soldier in populated areas like Santa Familia. The incident goes against those standard procedures. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the gathering today that the military officers have been removed from the village. Compol Williams says that the BDF soldiers were added to help with the issue of Guatemalan bandits in the area. But now that will change.
I am not too familiar with the BDF rules of engagement, but I believe that there may be a need for some reform to ensure that the BDF rules of engagement in the rural or urban setting is not the same as the border areas, because we cannot be at war with our own people, right? So it is something I'm sure that is going to be looked at to see what reform can be done to ensure that this does not occur.
But should the BDF remain on patrol with the police in these population centers?
No, I don't think so, no.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. So now we've changed this, changed it back, change it again. Will we have to change it back again, revert to police-only patrols?
Well, you know, at times, Jules, that we do have circumstances where things may get a bit out of hand and on the edge, that the masses of our country begin to feel uneasy. And due to the fact that we, police, don't have the numbers to be able to take control of situations at time, we will, from time to time, and situations will dictate when and how the BDF will join the police in dealing with certain situations.
More details of the plan to cut Belize's super bond. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, Jesus saith unto her, Thy brother shall rise again. Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Today I would like to ask you an important question. Where will you be 10 million years from today? The truth is that you will be either in heaven or in hell. God has made you for eternity, and what you do with Jesus Christ determines your destiny. Jesus gives us two great promises. In John 8:51, he says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. Then at the death of Lazarus, Jesus says to his sister Martha, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. What a promise! Jesus is saying that man has more than a body, that he has a soul. For the soul there is a promise of immortality, and for the body the promise of a resurrection. Jesus was declared to be the Son of God by the resurrection from the dead. The resurrection proved he was the Son of God. And Jesus says to us, because I live, you shall live also. Through believing in Jesus Christ, we discover the life that lasts forever.
Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Hello, welcome to Samsung's awesome experience right here in Belize. Come check it out. Not sure which Samsung Galaxy A series is right for you? Touch, play, and learn about your device before you buy. Once you've purchased your device, you can now benefit from the full Samsung service experience. Your phone is covered by a 1-year local warranty. This includes manufacturer defects and software and hardware issues caused by the manufacturer. Enjoy your phone with peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy is protected. And when your warranty expires, you can still bring it to our certified Samsung Repair Center. Our technicians will diagnose and repair your device with Samsung original parts and machinery. Enjoy the Samsung experience when you shop at any of our authorized partners countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Odette's Home Center, Debari, Quartz, Shopigas, Gadgets, and Cellular Plus. Join the Samsung experience in Belize today.
Have you tried the Atlantic Insurance app yet? If not, you are literally missing out. When you request a renewal on your motor insurance policy through our AIC app, you automatically get an additional 10% off. When you use our app to request a renewal of your property insurance, you get a special discount. For new customers, the savings get even bigger. Request a quotation using our app, and upon acceptance of the business, you qualify for up to 30% on motor insurance. And of course, special discount applies for property insurance. Download and use our AIC mobile app today and save. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
We all find ourselves reminiscing on life before COVID-19. Roaming freely, embracing without concern, laughing and enjoying the splendors of life. My, how we miss those times. It's time to get vaccinated so we can all start doing the things we love with the people we love in the safest possible manner once again. Digi, Moyona Resorts, and the Ministry of Health encourages all Belizeans to get your first and second vaccine for chances to win tons of awesome prizes now through September 30th. Win free LTE data packages every week, cash prizes, and a free 1-year mobile postpaid plan each month courtesy of Digi. Plus a weekend family getaway at a Mayono Gold Standard Resort each month courtesy Mayono Resorts. Winners will be posted on Digi Facebook and Instagram and Ministry of Health's Facebook every Friday starting June 25th. Visit a vaccination center nearest you today. Get vaccinated and win. Visit livedigi.com for more details.
Prime Minister John Briceño shared in the House of Representatives on Friday that Belize and the Bondholders Committee of the Superbond had reached an agreement in principle on how they would proceed with settling the Superbond. The debt, which has existed since 2007, now stands at $572 million. If a settlement is not reached by October 19th, and another $57 million will be tacked onto it. Prime Minister Briceño, in a televised statement posted on the government's website today, explained the scope of what the new agreement seeks to cover.
With the consent of the Cabinet and the support of holders of 50% of the principal amount of these bonds, this agreement calls for the bondholders to sell their claim at a very significant discount to Belize. Specifically, this deal calls for a 48.3% discount to the face value of the super bond, together with, for those holders that tender during the offer period, a payment in lieu of accrued interest on the bonds. The government proposes to raise the money for the discounted repurchase through a loan from an affiliate of the Nature Conservancy. In connection with that loan, government will accelerate its marine conservation policies in a manner that will dramatically enhance the preservation of Belize's precious seas, coral reefs, and fish stocks. But let me be clear, in principle, the agreement government has hammered out with the bondholder committee does not guarantee that our proposal will ultimately succeed. While the committee represents close to 50% of bondholders, the offer will require 75% support in order to close. Government has taken the decision that this transaction must eliminate the entirety of the Superbond, not just part of it. And under the terms of the bonds, this requires the support of 75% of the bondholders. In addition, government must now finalize the terms and conditions for the innovative financing being arranged by the Nature Conservancy and button up some outstanding features of the conservation partnership. And so, I emphasize that while we have completed a critical first phase of this process, ultimate success requires additional bondholder support, as well as an agreement on certain conditions attendant to the TNC financing and the conservation objectives. If our proposals are consummated, however, Belize's public debt will be instantly reduced by almost 500 million Belize dollars. To put this in perspective, 12 cents of every dollar of the public debt will be eliminated. This arrangement will also direct, on average, 8 million Belize dollars annually to marine conservation projects and upgrading the protection and management of our marine patrimony.
Former Minister of Works Rene Montero is being sought by police for the crime of willful oppression. A wanted person flyer was circulated on Monday for information leading to his arrest. It's a development that goes back to November 2020, when heavy equipment belonging to the government of Belize was repossessed from the former Cayo Central area representative. An investigation was subsequently launched by his successor at the Ministry of Works, which has since been rebranded as the Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing. In the wake of the warrant being issued, Montero's attorney, Orson Elrington, has responded on his behalf. Today, he told News 5 that not only is his client innocent, he is presently out of the country.
We have a record number of murders. We have a record number of rapes. we have a record number of violent crimes. And not once have I ever seen a wanted poster. So obviously, this is nothing more than political mischief. Regrettably, the administration is using the Belize Police Department and the good officers of the Belize Department to effect their political will. We have a situation where a minister of government is on public record saying that he is conducting the investigation, he is carrying out the investigation. That's on public record. That he is the person who is ensuring that affidavits are filed and that he is interviewing. That is, Isani, if that is not completely biased and corrupts any chance of a valid investigation, it most certainly gives a perception of that. And that is exactly what we're seeing right now. This is nothing more than trumped up charges for which my client maintains his complete innocence.
Compol Chester Williams does not believe that the former minister is out of the country. Having seen the statement made by Montero's attorney, he advises that the wanted former minister turns himself into the police.
Yesterday we issued a warrant in first instance for the arrest of Mr. Rene Montero Sr. He is currently being sought by the police. We have visited a number of places where we believe that he might be, but we have not been able to locate him. And so the warrant, along with a wanted poster, was issued yesterday in respect of his arrest. I know the police went to his home and looked for him. But now the attorney knows he has seen the arrest warrant, then the attorney should do the right thing and bring his client in and make it much easier.
The charge of willful oppression, for which the former Minister of Works is wanted by police, is a charge some say they have never heard of before. Today, attorney Dickie Bradley shared with News 5 that, in his view, it is also a charge that can never stand against a former government minister in a court of law. The attorney explained to us that willful oppression is simply the wrong charge brought against the former minister, because that charge is specifically for jurors and public officers, but not public officials.
If the charge is that section under the law, I think it's section 389 or section 390, any charge against anybody saying that a public officer or a member of a jury, those do not apply to Mr. Montero, to the former minister, because he's not and never was a public officer during the period in question.
Indeed.
And he was not a juror, meaning he was a member of the jury sitting on a case. Those are specific charges for specific persons in specific circumstances. That's a waste of time. That can get thrown the first time after the court.
What would have been the appropriate charge to bring against him being a former minister who allegedly abused his authority?
I would have to go and look and see what is the allegation that they're saying, that he abused vehicles and heavy equipment that belong to the public, no?
Yes.
That's some kind of conversion or using things under some guise of something else. I don't know. In the civil law, he can be sued in court for malfeasance in office, or misfeasance in office, abusing his office and causing the government or the public to lose the use of those equipment to the tune of X amount of dollars. But that specific charge, specifically against the former minister, that can't hold up in court.
Bradley said the charge, which was also laid against one George Andrews, can only stand against that person if he was a public officer, whether open vote or employed by the Public Service Commission. There was a shootout in southern Belize between criminal elements from Belize City and police officers. It started with officers responding to a robbery in Red Bank Village and led to a vehicle chase along the southern highway. But there was an exchange of fire when the vehicle the robbers were traveling in ended up in an accident. The thieves escaped in nearby bushes. Despite searches in the area, police have not been able to catch any of them. While with the Commissioner of Police today, he shared details of the incident.
Police received information of a robbery at Red Bank Village in the Eastern Creek District. They were also given description of the vehicle that the culprits were escaping in, and the police eventually caught up with the vehicle and a pursuit took place. That pursuit took the police to 6 Miles Junction, where the vehicle overturned. After overturning, the occupants of the vehicle exited the vehicle and fired shots at the police and made good escape in the bushes. Police remained in the area up to this morning, hoping that the robbers would come out so that they could be captured, but so far we have not been able to catch up with them.
Travelers are being cautioned not to pick up any hitchhikers in the area. There is more news after the break, but first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
When I hear that drum, 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 I get off of my seat when I hear that drum.
It's the 2021 Sir Barry's Bellikin Digital Bash, giving back through music. Starting on Thursday, September 16th, with a mashup by Denise Castillo, Kylan Ely, and J-Cast, backed up by the Center Stage Band. Then, the 2021 Bellikin DJ Champ, DJ Mamba, and to headline Night 1, Marilyn Vanson. Friday, September 17th, we kick off Night 2 with the Gil Harris 7 Band, followed by the Raven Sensation, Night Quest, and backed by popular demands, Sweet Pain 3.0. On Saturday, September 18th, we're closing out the bash with a bang, Super Fura Band, followed by Evolution Sounds, and yes, he is back, the General Super G. Catch the action on our Bellikin Facebook page, YouTube, and your favorite television station each night, starting at 8 p.m. It's the 2021 Sir Barry's Bellikin Digital Bash, giving back through music.
When I hear that drum, I get off of my seat when I hear that drum.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Improving lives, delivering quality. Water for you and me. In Belize, BWS, we make it happen.
At Belize Water Services, we continue delivering on our promise of improving the lives of you, our valued customers. We have all been adversely affected by COVID-19 in many ways. BWS has ensured that we have been there for you during these difficult and challenging times by adjusting our processes and our way of doing business to ensure the safety of our customers as well as our staff. BWS enhanced our virtual and distance options to continue to serve you while reducing risk. Customers have been able to contact us through our toll-free numbers, via email, and using our newly introduced WhatsApp numbers for messaging. We have also continued to encourage customers to make payments online. These measures are all designed to improve the safety of customers. BWS went even further. Knowing the effects of the pandemic on the economy and our customers, we launched our residential amnesty program, offering rebate discounts during the months of April, May, and June 2021. We're pleased to report that some 7,400 customers utilized the arrears assistance, and some 18,000 residential customers received the benefit of the early payment discount. During these tough times, BWS also continued to invest in infrastructure expansion and improvements. At the same time, we have continued to provide high-quality, safe, potable water services to ensure the continued health and safety of all our consumers. Our customers enjoyed uninterrupted water supply during the most challenging of times.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime, while with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Senior Counsel Dean Barrow has filed an application for judicial review on behalf of his client, former Attorney General and UDP Senator Michael Perry-Feet. Barrow is seeking leave to challenge the constitutionality of a contract awarded to SMART for the provision of Microsoft services to the government of Belize. It is the attorney's belief that the process used to select the service provider was flawed, rendering the contract illegal, irrational, and biased. Those are the fundamentals upon which the challenge will be mounted should the Supreme Court grant the applicant leave to review the lawfulness of the decision taken by the Briceño administration. This morning, News 5's Isani Cayetano sat down with Barrow, who explained the nature of the claim.
It's a judicial review challenge, which is a two-stage process. You must first get permission to bring the substantive application thereafter to seek to get the contract set aside. So we filed now, and we expect to get a date shortly for the first stage, the permission stage. The court can actually refuse you permission, and that's the end of it, except you appeal. I wouldn't think that would happen. I believe it's a strong case, and so I think we will get permission, and thereafter all the issues will be joined, and we would go to court for the hearing of the substantive trial, the substantive case, to determine whether we will succeed in getting this contract quashed.
Take us back a bit. What is the basis for this application, and on what merit would it stand if you're bringing it before the court for judicial review?
Glad you asked that. Very important. There are basically three grounds, three bases on which we're mounting the challenge. The first is that the award of the contract, the decision-making process leading up to the award and the actual award of the contract, that the entirety of that is illegal. And we're saying illegal for this simple reason. What was done in violation of the Finance and Audit Reform Act.
According to Barrow, not only does the awarding of the contract fly in the face of the Finance and Audit Reform Act, but the contractor general, who ought to have reviewed the agreement prior to execution, was reportedly unaware of the tendering process. Barrow says that by sidestepping the Contractor General, the Ministry of Finance avoided scrutiny on whether the contract is in fact in the national interest.
The Finance and Audit Reform Act says government is looking to enter into a procurement contract, which is what this was. You can go under one of three sections. The section that allows you to invite bids by way of the limited tender procedure. Secondly, the section that allows you to invite bids by way of the selective tendering procedure. And thirdly, the section that allows you to invite bids by way of the open tendering procedure. Whichever section you use, once you have gone through the bidding process, the tender process, and you decide on who is the winner, you decide on the entity that will get the contract. Before you execute that contract as government, you must submit it to the Contractor General under the Finance and Audit Reform Act, who then is to look at it, determine whether, in his view, the contract is in the national interest. If he so determines, if he feels, yes, this is in the national interest, he issues a certificate to that effect, which certificate shall be final and conclusive, and he sends that to the financial secretary, and that's it, you're good to go. If he decides it is not in the national interest, he then prepares a report which he submits to both houses of Parliament, both houses of the National Assembly, the House of Representatives and the Senate. And the Senate and the House must then debate his report and determine whether, in spite of his report, the contract should still go through. That has not been done.
Just ahead, the latest from the Christian Workers Union, and the Prime Minister addresses the first virtual Africa CARICOM Summit.
Bringing people together has always been SMART's mission and passion. That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. SMART has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the SMART family, where the value for your dollar matters. SMART will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. SMART, bringing people together.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
The Christian Workers Union and the Port of Belize Limited have been at odds in the past over a number of labor issues. But tonight, they agree that the Ministry of Labor should stick to its commitment to mediate negotiations between the two parties. President of the Christian Workers Union, Evan Mose Hyde, says when the Ministry of Labor made a commitment back in July to mediate negotiations on certain labor issues, the union did not foresee the Labor Department walking back. But as we have reported in the past, Hyde and the CWU are saying that this is exactly what the Labor Department has done in favor of a tribunal established to hold hearings on the matters and make a final ruling.
So there is a chronology that we have to lay out. The tribunal comes in, the date is set, we're in the middle of confronting the issue of Ministry of Labor backing out. But we are legally advised that we have to go and represent at the tribunal while we are still trying to get the Ministry of Labor to keep its agreement. That first meeting is adjourned. Coming out of that process, where we express to the tribunal in that adjourned meeting that we have a serious complaint. And it's in that meeting that PBL expressed that they similarly back up our position and that they were going to co-join us with a letter to the Ministry of Labor, which we then wrote in the aftermath of, after that first meeting that we had. We wrote the Ministry of Labor, and it's in response to that letter on the 24th that they said they are not interested. Now, that is when we up the ante and figuring out, well, what we really do about this tribunal.
In an attempt to further resist the Labor Department, the CWU called for solidarity from its umbrella union, the National Trade Union Congress of Belize. They asked the NTUCB to recuse himself from his seat on the tribunal, so it could not meet its quorum. Now, Hyde says only the Labor Department can say when this protest will come to an end.
The National Trade Union Congress of Belize, on the request from CWU, who had a vote, and the majority unions took the position that they would hold a position of solidarity with us and asked the rep for TUC to recuse himself from the tribunal, therefore taking away quorum. That's our position that we have. I know what the union is asking of the government to be responsible and to comply with its commitment that it made on July 21st to facilitate and mediate a negotiation between the union and PBL. As we expressed yesterday to the members of the tribunal, we have no problem with the tribunal. Our position is not a protest to the tribunal. Our position is a protest to the Ministry of Labour, who gathered us together. We discussed the situation and agreed, committed to a process, and we are keeping them to that agreement that they made with us on July 21st.
Is the tribunal, however, not an alternative approach, perhaps to the same end that the negotiations would have brought about?
We have an agreement with the Ministry of Labour, and we are keeping them to that agreement. And we believe that the effort to evade that is extremely unacceptable. And we have never experienced that type of what we'd call backpedaling before on a very sensitive, very critical matter. When we made certain decisions post July 21st, it was based on that agreement. So we don't want now for you to change your position, because now what we feel is that this is something that you have kind of schemed out.
This morning, Prime Minister John Briceño joined other Caribbean heads of state in speaking at the first virtual African CARICOM Summit. PM Briceño spoke on matters of partnership with Africa and the Caribbean, particularly through technical and educational corporations.
Our historic meeting comes at a unique and necessary time in history. Belize welcomes the participation with appreciation this engagement that seeks to advance the Africa CARICOM bi-regional agenda, and it is a demonstration of the firm commitment to increase cooperation and continental integration between Africa and Caribbean under the theme Unity Across Continents and Oceans, Opportunities for Deepening Integration. Caribbean and African ties are deeply rooted and based on a shared history, culture, and sense of a common identity, with a common colonial experience that left behind large centers of African diaspora, not only in the Caribbean, but also in the Americas. We have collaborated on and lived the decolonization and equality agendas, a period considered as a very dynamic phase in Africa-Caribbean relations. Now we are obligated to build on the vision and foundation laid by our forebearers, the Marcus Garveys, the Bob Marleys, the Isaiah Morters of Belize, those who understood the inseparability of the Caribbean and Africa.
Up next, pregnant women are being urged to get vaccinated. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
Imagine going through your entire day without the burden and risk of carrying cash on you. Belize's shift to digital wallets has begun with eCash. We can now skip the cash when collecting money or paying for our essentials, all while using a fast, easy, and secure platform. Simply add funds to your wallet via bank transfer or at an agent, and you're good to go. You will be able to make quick, easy payments simply by scanning QR codes. And best of all, it all happens just like that. Payments are as easy as clicking a link online or scanning a QR code. Download the eCash app from the Google Play and Apple App Store today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. The future is here with eCash. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257 to find out more.
Belize at 40. Hopeful hearts, steady hands, together we rise. The entire SMART family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. SMART, bringing people together.
The TV you love is always with you, from live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV, entertainment, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are one. Nexus, Nexus. Nexus, Nexus. Nexus, Nexus. So let's come together.
Nexus, a safe space for you to meet other young people, exchange ideas, learn and discuss about the issues that matter to you.
You are a leader, I am a leader. Let's come together and share ideas.
Tune in to the live launch of the Nexus platform on Channel 5 or on Facebook and YouTube on Saturday, September 11th, starting at 9 a.m. Register and attend the launch to win fantastic prizes.
Nexus, Nexus. Nexus, Nexus. Nexus, Nexus. We are one.
Reports are that Marconi Leal Sr., the area representative for Belize Rural North, was rushed to the KHMH for treatment for COVID-19. Reports are that Leal's oxygen levels had gone dangerously low. News 5 confirmed a short while ago that Leal has been transferred to the Belize Healthcare Partners, where he remains on oxygen supply. Leal, we understand, has a pre-existing health condition. The Association of Protected Areas Management Organization has spoken out on mining operations in the Chiquibull. A release statement from the association calls Boyton Minerals Limited's mining operation destructive and says it can bring further loss of forest resources. The organization notes that evidence gathered from an excursion to the Chiquibull National Park shows the severe damage caused to the natural resources by the mining operation. APAMO says the protected area provides critical ecosystem services to Belizeans, particularly clean water. As a result, we cannot, quote, afford for destructive mining operations wholly within our control to bring further loss of forest resources, unquote. The organization is calling on the government of Belize to take urgent and decisive steps to halt this threat. Pregnant women are being urged to get their COVID-19 Pfizer vaccination following 4 maternal deaths over the last 4 weeks. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says the vaccine expectant mothers need is the Pfizer, which is given in 2 doses within 21 days between doses. This is available at vaccine centers. While there sometimes are breakthrough cases, those who are vaccinated are less likely to get infected, develop severe symptoms, or be hospitalized due to COVID-19. The ministry reminds the public that the information available on vaccination during pregnancy raises no concerns over safety or effectiveness. However, pregnant women should discuss the vaccine with their healthcare provider. 14-year-old Laddie Gillett lost his life in an officer-involved shooting in Placencia back in July. The incident sparked public outrage as the teenager was shot and killed while fleeing from police officers, who thought Gillett and his companion were robbers. The police had been called out to the area by security guards at a nearby resort. Despite not being raised by his biological mother, she is making claim for compensation for his death. On Monday, the law office of Ellerington and Company issued a pre-litigation letter in which damages in the sum of $50,000 are being sought by Linda Gillett. This morning, however, the law firm was informed that the claimants are proceeding without its counsel. Attorney Orson Ellerington spoke with News 5 earlier today.
The mother of Laddie Gillett, Miss Linda Gillett, approached us, I believe, shortly after the death of young Laddie Gillett and requested our services. We agreed to do so basically on a pro bono contingency basis. She didn't pay a single dollar, a single cent, but we thought that it was in the interest of justice to ensure that the family of Laddie Gillett got rightfully compensated for losses suffered. Obviously, one of the first things that we had to ascertain was to confirm that indeed she was and is the legal guardian of Laddie Gillett, which took us some weeks to do. We had to follow the legal process of making that confirmation, and we did so and spent the time doing the necessary research to confirm what is the proper compensation that would be due to the mother and to the family. We did so, and yesterday we issued the pre-litigation letter based on that research. This morning, as we had discussed previously, the mother, along with the uncle, visited our offices and informed us that they no longer wanted to either proceed with the matter or at least have us retained on the matter. And so obviously we terminated the retainer agreement at that point in time with Miss Linda Gillett, who is the mother of Laddie Gillett.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.